Hi, this is Megan Jacks, Creative Memories Independent Advisor, and I'm here with sketch number 2 from the April 2022 Creative Memories Virtual Crop. And you can see with this sketch, we have a 2-page layout. A lot of the same elements carry over from the left page over to the right page. The big difference being on the left page, we do see a title banner at the top. I will admit this particular sketch isn't one that necessarily appeals to me. There's just something, I think if I was to see this in a sketchbook, I might just kind of flip past it. Wouldn't be something that would catch my eye. But because it's part of the virtual crop and I was feeling a little bit up for a challenge today, I decided I'd go ahead and give it a try. One of the things I did decide to do with this is I am only going to make this a single page layout. So I'm not going to worry about the second page. And I had just taken some photos on Wednesday this week. So just a couple of days ago, they were all vertical photos. So I am going to go ahead and rotate the single page layout into, so that I'm working with all vertical images. And then from there, as I walk you through putting together what I came up with, I'm going to talk to you about how I changed things up. And really, this is a video that just kind of lends itself to the thing where sketches are meant to inspire. And sometimes, you don't always end up with something that looks exactly like the sketch. You're going to see the elements that I brought forward with to my final layout, and you're going to see, and I'll talk about the stuff that I decided to leave behind and kind of why I decided to do that. So we'll go ahead and get started. So my photos I took my little guy over to the beach. We had to wait for his big sister. She had an appointment and it was close to the beach. So we wandered on over and he was able to go out. It was low tide and he went crab hunting. And these are the tiny little crabs that live in the rocks that are easy to find during low tide. So these are, the tiny little crabs are no bigger than a quarter, the size of a quarter. So he had a ton of fun and he came up and he showed me his crabs and I took some pictures. And it's just a cute, little memory, but I didn't need anything too big with this. So it actually worked really well to have these smaller photos along with a single larger photo where he can showing off his smile. So these are the photos I'm working with. I thought that I would use some, what I have left of the Deep Blue Sea collection from several years ago. So that was the first place I went for my, for some of the colors. And then as I got digging through my stuff, I realized it wasn't going to work the way I wanted to. And then I was like, well, what about some seaside? So I pulled some of that out. Well, it wasn't going to work the way I wanted to. So what I decided to do is I grabbed the new Totally Tonal paper. This is from the Blues, the Totally Tone, the Hues colors that came out. This is from the Blue Pack. And I just love this paper. It has a little bit of a design to it. But it's definitely all those colors, the nice watercolor effect. I thought it was great. So that's going to be my background. So here you go. Got a background. Now, the big thing with this particular background is I don't want to cover too much of it up. So that's something I'm going to be keeping in mind because I love the background. I love this paper. So I also decided that I needed, when you rotate this image to the side, I've got this 11 by 3 inch piece of paper in here. And so I grabbed another one of the Totally Tonal Blues, and I cut this piece to, it's 3 inches wide by 11 inches tall. Now, I had to decide what to do with my photos. So you can see here, they're going to lay out as such, and I needed something to make them stand out. I needed a mat. So one of the things I did like about the Deep Blue Sea collection is I had a border sticker that I thought was nice. I liked that little bit of that green in there, had the warm kind of ivory. I didn't want to go too much ivory because I do have a white based background and my photos are a little bit more cooler tone, but there's just a little bit in there and I liked that green. And I had this mat that I thought I could use. So I trimmed my photo down to fit. It's just smaller, just a little bit smaller than a 4x6. And you can see I've got that little hint of green all the way around. What I did use from the Seaside collection is I grabbed some of the worn, weathered board paper. One side really has the chipped up paint. The other side is just a more of that unstained, weathered wood. So this is going to be the mat for my photos. You can see here how that's going to lay in there, and that's picking up on the weathered wood that is all over the place down there at the beach Park. So I'm just going to go ahead and start putting these together. I have that little bit of green that's peeking through. It's a double matte. The sketch only called for a single matte, but I'm going to go ahead and double it up so I can get a little bit more of that green color in there. And then I decided I'm not going to double matte all these 3 photos. I am just going to single matte them. So we will go ahead, and these are the 2.5 by 3.5 inch photos. I do print my photos at home. I have a little Epson PM, the Epson PictureMate PM 400. I'll put a link to it in the description of the video if you want to check it out. I get it on Amazon. And I get my ink on Amazon too, and I'll link that in the description as well. It is my little workhorse. I love having that. These photos, I printed a 4x6, just a borderless 4x6 that I trimmed down a little bit. And then these smaller photos, they are the 2.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And I printed 3 of them just like this on a 5x7. And then I cut them apart. So it is a great way to get these smaller photos printed. So the 2.5 by 3.5 is a nice size because you can get 4 of them on a 5x7, and that PM 400 does print that 5x7 size. So if you're thinking about a photo printer at home, I like the PM 400. It's a little more expensive than the Selfie, the Canon Selfie, but it does print that larger size, that 5x7. So there is the photos that I'm going to be using. Now, as you can see, as I kind of do just a dry fit of laying this out, the sketch itself has these banner details off to one side, and there's various ways you could do those. If you wanted to incorporate those into your layout, you could use, you could cut them true to size. They are about a 1 inch wide. Depending on the orientation you're looking in this, they're 1 inch wide by 4.25 inch tall. You could use border stickers, border laser cut borders, any kind of effect that you want to go, just strips of paper. Various widths, you could do all sorts of things here. Well, I'm going to admit that that's probably one part of this sketch that really wasn't appealing to me. So what I decided to do is, since I have this print of this paper that I just love, I'm not going to worry about those. I'm not worrying about the banner details. I'm leaving that off, and that is okay. The sketch is meant to inspire. It is not, you do not have to follow it. You'll definitely see where I am following the sketch. I have the overall layout is very similar, the photo layout. There's lots of details. The only thing I'm leaving off is the banner detail. What I am doing is I'm pushing everything a little bit to the right. Since I don't have to worry about the banner detail, I am going to push everything over to the right a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is, instead of putting my banner, my title up here on a banner, I am going to do my title down here in the lower left corner. So I'm kind of just doing a dry fit, not worrying too much about getting things adhered into place. But what I've got is I've got some letters that I've cut out of with my little die cut machine. I have a manual die cut machine. I do have a Cameo or a Silhouette Cameo, but I find that I like my letter dies, my metal dies, a lot more. It's much faster for me to just, I have probably 10 to 15 alphabets, and I'm just able to pick which one I think works best. This is one of my default ones, just a nice sans serif font. And what this is going to say is, it's going to say going on. I'm going to use Creative Memories stickers at the top. The sans serif ones, it's going to say going on a, and then I'm going to use the script and layer it over the top of this, the white script, and it'll say crab, and then it'll be the hunt in this, the sea green. So I can tell I need to push things over just a little bit more. I'm going to give that nice space for the title. And because I'm doing it here in the lower corner, my sticker should stand out nicely against the darker portion of this blue. And then from the the Deep Blue Sea collection, I have a couple stickers. I'm pretty certain I was going to go ahead and put on these little stickers like such, giving myself a little bit more detail in the photo itself. These photo corners. I am down to bare minimum. I have not much left at all in my Deep Blue Sea. but just something a little bit there. It has that anchor, little bit of that nautical detail. So that's kind of what it looks like. You have to imagine I am going to come in here and finish out the title detail. I love adding that title detail. I might push this up just a little bit, give room for that title here at the bottom. And there you can see how it's all going to come together. It's going to look really nice. It is definitely one of those sketches that I didn't follow exactly, and that's sometimes just how it works. But I love this paper. I wanted to show out, this was a technique that I've seen done before, what they call just more centering. You have that anchor point kind of in the middle with your, the border details in the middle rather than out here on the edge. So you're kind of just centering everything into the middle. And that's a great technique to do. So if there's parts of a sketch that aren't appealing to you, take a look at it and say, what is not working for me? In this particular case, it was just these banners at the bottom. It just wasn't working. I decided I wasn't going to worry about the second page, rotate it to make it work with my particular images, leave off what didn't work. I still had a lot of background available, so I could use that paper that I really liked. And you might be able to say that that paper here gives that detail that, if you're doing these banner details here to the side, you might be using a more tonal, basic background paper and letting this detail here shine with patterns and shapes and textures. And in my particular case, I'm letting the background paper do that work for me. So that's one of the reasons it really works in this particular case. So I hope you enjoy having a chance to put together sketch number 2 from the Creative Memories April 2022 virtual crop. I cannot wait to see what you create with it, and I will see you soon. Thanks.